We get started, as we do every single morning, we want to make sure that we pay tribute to this great nation that we are in. And at this time, I ask that everyone rise and remove cover for the playing of our national anthem. Within the Junior Angus show, in the ring at this time is our first class of cow-calf pairs. We have entry 1044, and that is Blair Sweet Erica from Timber Billman of Blackfoot, Idaho. Date of birth is January 24th of 2020.
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here in Denver, Colorado. It was quite the trip to get in here last night, but I think it'll be well worth it by the end of this day. We've got a cow-calf pair here that these young ladies have brought out here. Tremendous cow. When you sit back and you analyze that cow in terms of the depth of body that she has, the udder that she's carrying around the ring, the soundness of her structure when she gets out and goes. And I think the best thing about her is when you look at how she's put everything into production with this nice heifer calf here at her side, an April-born female that's really doing a good job. Tremendous pair that these two young ladies have brought out here. Congratulations to them.
Your results from the Junior Angus Show in class number 1, entry 1044, Blair's Sweet Erica from Timber Billman. In the ring at this time will be class number 2. We have the lone entry 1046, Sevens Lucy. This is owned by Xander Sunsback.
Another outstanding pair here, just a single entry, but I think in terms of production for an aged cow, you really got to admire the way this cow's built. Really long spine, good and level in her hip design. A nice udder under, maybe just a little more coarser teated than what I'd like to ideally see on an udder, but for a cow of that age, she's still doing a very nice job. She's got a really productive, big, stout July bull calf here at her side. It's one that's definitely got a lot of meat and muscle to her, to him, and you can see down that top, that one's got a nice ribeye coming along in him for his age. I think that's a very productive calf. It's got a bright future on down the road as a herd bull.
Results from class number 2 of Junior Angus Show in the cow-calf pairs division. In first place, entry 1046, Sevens Lucy 517 from Xander Sunsback. At this time, we will bring our first and seconds back for the champion cow-calf pair selection. Our judge for today's Junior Angus show is Dan Harker. Dan Harker and his family reside in Hope, Indiana, and Dan is the owner and operator of Harker Scimitals, a 135-head cow-calf operation consisting of purebred and percentage Scimital and Angus. They market open heifers and bulls privately and treaty and in online sales.
Well, back out here for your champion cow-calf pair. We definitely have two high-quality pairs here. There's some differences in types and kinds with these two cows. We got our young 2-year-old up here in the front. That's one that you'd love the way that one's designed. She's really nice and neat through that front 1/3. You like the shape and the dimension that one has. Doing an awesome job raising that calf. You look at her on paper, and she's a little less on her milk numbers than what our aged cow is. And you look at that udder, you can kind of see a little bit of a difference there. I'd like to give her just a little bit more fore udder, balance that udder out just a little bit more. But that's a very productive cow and doing a really good job with that April heifer calf. The aged cow here, just tremendously powerful individual. Really good footed, big and stout in her bone work, good in her joints. You get her out and you get her going around the ring here, super sound individual. Got a big stout bull calf there at her side. He may not be the prettiest one we'll see all the here at the Denver National Western, but that's one that's got some meat and some muscle to him and doing a nice job in the production values. I'm going to go out here and pick your champion reserve. Two very, very high-quality cow-calf pairs.
Your champion junior Angus cow-calf pair comes from class number 1. That is entry 1044, Blair's West Erica from Timber Billman. Your reserve champion in the cow-calf pair division is entry 1046 from class number 2, and that is Sevens Lucy and the owner, Xander Sunsback. At this time, we will pause for pictures, and then we will begin with our females division. do have a correction for the Junior Angus show. I had our champion and reserves mixed up. So our champion cow-calf pair is actually from Class 2, and that is entry 1046, Sevens Lucy, and that's Xander Sunsback. And your reserve champion cow-calf pair is entry 1044, Blair's West Erica of Timber Billman of Blackfoot, Idaho. In the show ring at this time is our class number 3 of females for the Junior Angus show. We have a total of 3 entries in this class. Entry 1048. This is SLL Phyllis 262 from Olivia Jones. We have entry 1049, Seldom Rest Sandy Joe from Catherine Coleman. And we have entry 1050, SCC Heart and Soul from Hayden Riley Hahn. All 3 of these animals born June of 2022. Once again, our judge for today's Junior Angus show is Dan Harker. While he continues to evaluate the class in the ring at this time, we have to highlight some of our sponsors for the National Western Stock Show. The Colorado Farm Show is proud to support the National Western Stock Show, and they invite you to attend the 58th Colorado Farm Show, taking place January 24th, 25th, and 26th at the Island Grove Regional Event Center in Greeley. Colorado Farm Show brochures are available ringside or at the announcer's stand. Complete details are also online at coloradofarmshow.com.
We start this Angus Heifer show with an outstanding class of June females here. The top end of this class is just phenomenal for me. Those of you that know me know that I like some cattle with some substance and some style, some bone and some footwork under them, and I think this heifer that I chose to win this class is one that just really comes to the top for me in terms of putting everything together with my kind of cattle. That's one that's really hooked up nice there in behind her shoulder. She's got a big back, a really powerful hip in her, but when you say set her into motion, she gets out and she goes around the ring on a good foot and plenty of substance of bone to her. Just a highly fitted, nicely presented female to start off this class with. The Heifer here in second's no slouch in her own right. She's one that's just a nickel greener maybe at this stage of the game. I'd like to give her a little more power right in there behind her shoulders, and in comparison to our first place Heifer, that's a Heifer that I'd like to see maybe just a little stouter there in her overall bone work to compete with that first one. But two really, really high quality Heifers to start off with. Congratulations to those two kids. Young lady coming out here in the third hole has another very competitive Heifer, one that's maybe just a little more upright in that shoulder design than what our first two are. I'd like to free her up a little bit there in her knee when you set her into motion, but that's a nice Heifer. Young lady does a good job getting her showed.
Your results from class number 3 within the Junior Angus show. In third place, entry 1050, and that is Heart and Soul from Hayden Riley Hahn. In second place, entry 1049, Seldom Rest Sandy from Catherine Coleman. In first place, your class winner, entry 1048, SLL Phyllis from Olivia Jones. In the ring at this time is class number 4. We have entry 1051, Lazy JB Party Girl from Claire Ann Mernon. We have entry 1053, Dameron Northern Miss from Katie Collison. We have entry 1055, Gore Sarah's Dream from Tristan Donovan. We have entry 1056, RW Sarah's Dream 211 from Cora Haben. We have entry 1057, SCC Phyllis 250 from Mercedes Ferry. And the final entry is entry 1058, Clark Boys SR Sandy from Sutter Clark. Date of birth range on these Heifers in the ring is May 1st through May 14th.
Really outstanding class of May females here. We're going to go ahead and start off with one I think just gives you that killer show ring look from the side. That's one that's really jet necked. I love that about her. I like the shape to her shoulder, the amount of rib shape and dimension that she has, but has that turn to her top and some actual muscle and some shape down that top. I think that one's got a bright future in front of her. Young lady gets that one parked and gets her set up. She gives you that killer look. Really didn't want to behave when she first walked in here, but I think you get that one to get out here and get to going around the ring. You really like the parts and pieces there, including the footwork under that one. The next one coming out, just an awesome little brood cow here in the making. I'd like to change this one's rear foot a little bit. She wants to get a little shallow in her heel and a little long in her toe for this stage of the game for me, but that's one that's got a tremendous amount of rib to her. I like the cow look that she has. Just like to change her a little bit there at the ground to get her over that first place heifer today. The next one coming out in the third hole's got a lot of neat parts and pieces to her. She is the biggest framed one, the highest growthy one in the class, but I think when you set her into motion, she needs to kind of handle that rear leg a little different today. She's wanting to get a little more upright in those pasterns off that left rear and just needs to settle down and relax to get up any higher. The next one coming out, tremendously typey heifer. She's the smallest one in this class, but she's one that gives you a nice look to her. I just wonder about the end game or the end point on that one in terms of frame size for me on down the road. Next one coming out, just a really nice functional female this young man's brought out. Just doesn't have all the bells and whistles to compete with those ones in front of it today.
Your results from class number 4. In 5th place, entry 1055, Tristan Donovan. In 4th place, entry 1053, Katie Collison. In 3rd place, Sutter Clark with entry 1058. In 2nd place, entry 1051, Claire Ann Mernon. In 1st place and your class winner, entry 1056, Cora Haben. At this time in the ring, we will have our first and seconds returning for our champion summer heifer calf selection.
Start out with this first division of Angus heifer calves here. I think these two class winners that we bring out here are just deadly in terms of their look and their type and kind. There's one, though, to me that just puts everything together and the type of package for what I prefer for my operation at home and the way I like to pick cattle. There's one that just really comes to the top for me. It's going to be pretty easy to pick my champion. Reserve's going to follow type and kind pretty easy for me. Congratulations to all these kids involved in this division.
Your champion summer heifer calf comes from class number 3 and that is entry 1048 SCC SLL Phyllis 262 from Olivia Jones. Your reserve summer heifer calf champion comes from class number 4, and that is entry 1056 RW Sarah's Dream 211 from Cora Haben. Coming into the ring at this time is class number 5. We have entry from Bree Kosinski, Matea Kraft, Logan Mullion, Riley Ann Green. Another entry from Kylie Kraft. And the date of birth on these animals is April 16th through April 27th of 2022. This is class number 5.
Interesting class of April females here. I think when you sit back and you analyze these, there's one though that puts everything together in the most complete package in terms of eye appeal and structure. One that's got some shape and dimension down her top and a nice hip in her, yet still gets out and goes around the ring, and you love that about her when you set her into motion. I think she's the easy class winner out here for me today. Congratulations to her. The second place heifer coming out next, I think just in terms of putting all the parts and pieces out here, she kind of logically goes into that second hole today. She's one that's maybe a little plainer in that front 1/3 than what our third place heifer is, but definitely has the power and the shape and the dimension to her that you like in these Angus females. The heifer coming out here in third, a very classy heifer. That's one I think is extremely green at this stage of the game. I like showing those green ones come next summer, and I think that one's got a bright future in front of her for that young lady. It's the one that just needs a little bit more time. You can tell it's her first trip through the ring, but it's got a bright future on down the road. The next one coming out is kind of the challenging heifer for me in this class. She's the big, stout, powerful one. Just pushes the extremes a little bit for me. I'd like to tone that one down in terms of her frame size to get her up any higher for me out here in this class. The next heifer coming out just is one that needs to have a little bit more substance, a little more style and pizzazz to get her up any higher.
Your results from class number 5. In 5th place, entry 1060, that's Matea Kraft. In 4th place, entry 1062, that's Riley Ann Green. In 3rd place, entry 1061, Logan Mullion. In 2nd place, entry 1059, Bree Kosinski. In 1st place, and your class winner, entry 1064, Kylie Kraft. In the ring at this time is class number 6. We have entry from Tristan Luchka, Brant Allen, Bowen Bridges, Jagger James Flesh, Cameron Donovan, Claire Ann Mernon, and Mercedes Ferry. The date of birth range on the animals in the ring at this time is April 2nd through April 10th of 2022.
interesting class of April females here. We're going to go ahead and use one I think just presents herself in the most unique kind of package out here. She's a little different than anything else we have in this class in terms of a very cocky, very high-headed type individual when you set her into motion out here, but one that's got some true substance of bone to her. Good foot shape and design. I like the heel that she has, the toe length that one has. Really a nice female there to start off this class, just totally different in her type and kind. The heifer coming out in the second hole, an awesome brood cow in the making, one that you love the amount of rib shape and dimension to her. Maybe just a nickel too full out here. She's wanting to get up in the center part of that spine when you set her into motion. I'd like to give that one a little more substance of her heel to get her over that first place heifer, but two really high quality heifers. The next one coming out, just a really complete individual. Young man does a nice job showing her. I think that one's going to make a nice cow on down the road for that young man. The one coming out here in the next hole, one that's maybe the pound's lightest heifer here in this class, but one that gives you a cool look from the side. Young man does a nice job getting that one showed. Just needs a little bit more maturity to compete with the ones in front of her today. The next two heifers coming out, I'd just like to balance those heifers up a little bit to get them any higher in this class today. Thank you.
Your results from class number 6 within the Junior Angus Show. In 6th place, entry 1066, Tristan Luchka. In 5th place, entry 1067, Brant K. Allen. In 4th place, entry 1069, Jagger James Flesh. In 3rd place, entry 1070, Cameron Donovan. In 2nd place, entry 1071, Claire Ann Mernon. And in 1st place, your class winner, entry 1068, Bowen Bridges. Within the Junior Angus Show at this time, we have in the ring class number 7, entry 1074, Jace D. Dickerson. Entry 1075, Emily Brooks. Entry 1077, Peyton Volition. Entry 1080, Braxton Tate Cole. Entry 1081, Lane Toledo. Entry 1082, Sydney Dodge.
Very intriguing lineup of Angus heifers here. I think this one we start out with in terms of power and shape and dimension has that brood cow look, but yet still has that show ring presence. And when you set her into motion, she doesn't disappoint you either. You watch her walk away from you. She's got plenty of base width, but yet those joints work the way they should, and everything's functional when you get her out here and get her going. I think that's a very nicely presented heifer that logically wins this class pretty easy for me. The next heifer here is one that's very intriguing in terms of her overall build. A little fresher and maybe greener than what our class winner is today. I'd like to just open that one up a little bit more in the center part of her body, give her a little bit more in that forerib behind the shoulder, compete with the one in front of her, but two very high quality heifers there going out first and second. The heifer here in third, very nice heifer in terms of just studying that heifer standing still. When you get to looking at the ground, she gets a little crab clawed there on those front two, and I'd like to change that about it. I know at home in my own Angus operation that's getting to be a pretty bad deal, so I kind of get really picky on that when I'm sorting these animals, and I'd like to change that one's front feet to get her up over that pair in front of her. The next two heifers coming out, very nicely presented heifers that are really high quality standing still, but for me out here today, I want to change these two. When you set them into motion, I think they're the ones that struggle the most to get around the ring. Congratulations to everybody in this class.
Within the Junior Angus Show, your results from class number 7. In 5th place, entry 1081, Lane Toledo. In 4th place, entry 1080, Braxton Tate Cole. In 3rd place, entry 1077, Peyton Volution. In 2nd place, entry 1074, Jace Dickerson. In 1st place, your class winner, entry 1082, Sydney Dodge. Set to enter the ring at this time will be class number 8 within the Junior Angus Show. We have entries from Cooper Mernon, Josie Fields, Seth Cox, Ella Brooks, Scarlett Carney, Catherine Coleman, and Daniel Young.
Excellent class of March females here. You get down to these top two, and you got to get pretty nitpicky to sort them apart. But for me out here today, I'm going to go ahead and use this young lady's heifer to win this class. I think just true substance of bone and foot shape and design, but yet extension and cleanliness through that front 1/3 is what excels her in the top end of this class. That young lady's got a very high quality heifer. You analyze that one in terms of on the move and park. That one's got a lot of good pieces to her, and that's a really good one for me to grab a hold of and take to the top. The heifer here in second, another really high quality heifer. I'd like to tone that one down just a nickel in her tail head, make her a little longer from her hooks to her pins to compete with that one in front of her. She needs to be cleaned up a little bit in that jowl line to get over that one in front of her today, but two really high quality heifers here at the top of this class. They should be proud of both of them. The heifer here coming out in the third hole, another really good individual. Just needs a shot more style and a shot more bone to get up over those two in front of her, but that's a heifer when she actually settles down out here for that young lady. It's got a lot of good to her. The one coming out in the next hole, the young lady's got a very high quality heifer, but I think today out here within this lineup, she needs to be a little truer off those rear two when you set her into motion. She wants to hawk in. I'd like to give her a little bit more substance of bone from the hawk to the ground to get her over those ones in front today. The next three heifers coming out are ones that just need a shot more style, a shot more balance to get them up any higher.
Your results from class number 8 within the Junior Angus Show. In 7th place, entry 1085, Josie Fields. In 6th place, entry 1084, Cooper Mernon. In 5th place, entry 1088, Seth Cox. In 4th place, entry 1093, Catherine Coleman. In 3rd place, entry 1089, Ella Brooks. In 2nd place, entry 1094, Danielle Young. And 1st place, your class winner, entry 1090, and that is Scarlett Carney. Within the Junior Angus Show, we will have our Junior Heifer Calf Division 1 champion selection.
Outstanding set of Angus class winners back out here for this division. I'll tell you what, if these 4 class winners don't get you excited about breeding and showing Angus cattle, I don't know what does. From the first class all the way to this last one, really, really high quality set. They've definitely got some neat parts and pieces to them. They're cattle with some muscle and some shape to them. That's what I like. I like cattle that still have some look and some doability and some cow power. I think there's one out here, though, that in terms of putting everything together and that breed cow look, still giving you the show ring attitude and the show ring look that I like to see, but yet plenty of substance of bone and good foot under. It's pretty easy for me to pick my champion. The reserve will follow up very logically for me. Congratulations to all these kids. Give them a round of applause.
Within your junior Angus show, the results from your Heifer Calf Division 1 Championship Drive, your champion goes to entry 1082, and that is Sydney Dodge. Your reserve junior Heifer Calf Division 1 champion goes to entry 1090, and that is Scarlett Carney. Within the junior Angus show, in the ring at this time is class number 9. We have entries from Jack Dameron, Addison Page Bartlow, Tristan Donovan, Scarlett Carney, William Robert Manning, Sawyer Stiles, Hadley Hansen, and Hayden Mullion.
Really good class of heifers here. We start off with one. I think this one hit me with a ton, like a ton, when she walked into this class. She's just got that look. She's got that killer look from the side. I love the amount of rib that one has. The way she lays in nice and neat in that shoulder design and good through that front 1/3, but yet still has plenty of power down that top and into that hip. That's one that's really functional. When she gets out and goes, she just glides around the ring. I think that one's probably the soundest one in this class by a mile when you set her into motion. Young man does an awesome job getting her showed. She wins this class pretty easy. The next one coming out, this is one that I think's got some really cool parts and pieces to her. If you could just pick her up a little bit there at the top side of her shoulder, I think that's one that's got a lot of good things to her. Really tremendous amount of body, big shape down that top. You set her into motion, she gets out and goes really well. I'd like to maybe change a little bit there in that hawk design off that left rear as she gets out and goes, but a really high quality one there in the second hole. The one coming out here next, really powerfully constructed heifer. Heifer with a tremendous amount of bone and good footwork under. When you set her into motion, though, she just doesn't want to relax out here today. She just needs to chill out for that young lady. I think there's a lot of good things there. She just needs to relax, get out and go the way I think she can, instead of a little bit outside of herself. The next one coming out is another one of those really nice built heifer. Just doesn't have all the bells and whistles of the ones in front of her. Next heifer coming out, I like a lot of things about this one. Just getting a little chesty, though, at this part of the game for me. She wants to get up in those pasterns when you get her out and get her going around the ring for that young lady. The next one coming out, really neat heifer, I think, in terms of on down the road for this young lady. One that's just a little greener in her overall type and kind of needs to belly down to get up any higher in this class today. And the next one coming out is one that just concerns me a little bit in her maturity. When you study that one's head design out here, I think that one's maybe just a little farther along than what the ones in front of her are. I'd like to change her that way. The next one coming out, it's just one that needs to have a little bit more balance, a little more eye appeal to get her up.
Nice single entry for this.
Within the Junior Angus show you results from class number 9. In 8th place, entry 1098, Tristan Donovan. In 7th place, entry 1104, Scarlett Carney. 6th place, 1109, Sawyer Stiles. 5th place, entry 1111, Hadley Hansen. In 4th place, entry 1096, Addison Page Bartlow. In 3rd place, entry 1112, Hayden Mullion. In 2nd place, entry 1107, William Robert Manning. And your class winner, entry 1095, Jack Dameron. In the Junior Angus show ring at this time, we have class number 10, Avery Elizabeth Kimball, Brenna Lee Ann Bartlow, J. Gordon Clark, Braxton Tate Cole, Reagan Callie, and Kaylee Langford.
Young man, you're starting off this class with a really outstanding heifer. I'll tell you what, in terms of my kind, setting back, analyzing this one through her front 1/3, the thinness that she has to that neck, but yet still the dimension and the body and the boldness that one has down her top and in her rib shape, her hip design. You get her out here and you get her going. That young man's got one that's just as sound as anything we've seen all day. He does a nice job getting that one showed. To me, that one comes to the top of this class quite handily for me. Congratulations to him. The one here in second's no slouch either. Young lady, you've got a really nice one. Not quite as extended through that front 1/3, not quite as feminine in that neck as what our class winner is, but in terms of power and design and foot shape and bone, that one just goes right into that second hole. That's a really good pair of heifers there at the top, and I think you can flip a coin between them. But for me and my personal preferences, I like that class winner. The one here in third's no slouch either. That's a heifer that's really got a cool look to her from the side. I'd like to give her a shot more bone when you get back and you analyze her compared to the two in front of her, but a really high quality heifer there in third. I'd be proud to take all three of these heifers home. The one coming out next, young man's got a really high quality heifer, but from the knee to the ground out here within this class, I'd like to change that heifer. She wants to bow in there at those knees and kind of toe out at the ground. That needs to be something that we watch within this, and I think that heifer's one of them that I'd like to change there off that front end, but a very powerfully constructed, good-looking kind of female there. The next one coming out, another one that's really good, just falls into a class with a bunch of buzzsaws towards the top of that class. Like to make her a little neater and cleaner through that chest to get her up. Young lady coming out here in the next hole, I apologize to her for putting her in the last place, because that's definitely not a last place heifer, but when you have a show that doesn't have a lot of numbers, it gets to where a heifer of that quality ends up at the bottom of the class. Congratulations to all these kids.
Your results from class number 10 in the Angus show. In 6th place, entry 1121, Reagan Callie. In 5th place, entry 1117, Brenna Lee Ann Bartlow. In 4th place, entry 1118, J. Gordon Clark. In 3rd place, entry 1115, Avery Elizabeth Kimball. In 2nd place, entry 1126, Kaylee Langford. And your class winner, entry 1120, Braxton Tate Cole. At this time, within the Angus show, we will bring back our class winners for our Junior Heifer Calf Division II champion selection.
Back out for your division champion in the Angus side here. I think there's two really, really high-quality females that win their classes pretty easily for me. I think there's one that just puts things together and that cool look, and still has that brood cow capacity and shape and dimension and sound as can be. It's going to be pretty easy for me to pick my champion. Gets to be a little bit more of a challenge for reserve, but for very, very high-quality heifers, these breeders and exhibitors need to be commended for bringing them to Denver.
Within your Junior Angus show, your champion junior heifer calf from Division II comes from Class 10. That is entry 1120, Braxton Tate Cole. Rolling into consideration for your reserve will be the 2nd place, entry 1126, Kaylee Langford. Your reserve champion junior heifer calf Division 2 is your first place winner from class number 9, and that is entry 1095, Jack Dameron. Set to enter the ring for the Junior Angus Show is class number 11. We have entries from Callie Flood.
Just a single entry here in the December Angus heifer calves. I think this is a heifer that's got a lot of good to her. I'd like to maybe change that one a little bit at the ground when you get her walking around out here and soften her up in those pastures. That's a heifer that does give you a nice look from the side, good and extended through that front 1/3. You like the shape and the dimension that that one has through the center part of her body. Congratulations.
Within your Junior Angus Show, your results from class number 11. First place goes to entry 1127, Kaylee Flood. Set to enter the ring at this time will be class number 12. We have Dietrich Nisley, Timber Billman, and Ella Brooks. These are November heifers.
Fall-born heifer that definitely leads the trio here in terms of elegance. That's a heifer that you love to look at that one from the side. Really long-spined individual, good in her hip design. I love the front end on that one in terms of the way that shoulder lays in there and a nice long neck that one has, but yet still has some substance and some base width to her as she walks away from you. I think that's a very easy class winner for me here within this fall-born class. The next heifer is not one that wows you in any one particular way, but just extremely complete. Young lady does a nice job of getting that one showed. She logically goes into the second place hole for me. The next one coming out, another heifer that's really nice within this class of fall-borns. Just like to change that one's foot design a little bit as you study those front two. Just change her and square her up a little in those toes. Single entry here at this October-born female. Young lady's brought out one that's definitely excellently presented. That's a heifer that lays in nice and neat in that shoulder design, very elegant through that front 1/3. You love the hip shape that one has in terms of the mass and the levelness of that hip. She's one that maybe not the longest bodied heifer we've seen out here all day, but one that definitely has some true depth and dimension to her. Going to make a nice cow on down the road for that young lady.
Out here for our reserve division selection, I think one that comes second.
Within your junior Angus show, your results from Class 13. The lone entry 1134, Sydney E. Franks with first place. In the ring at this time is Class 14. We have Cheyenne Bennett, Barrett Allen, and Jace Dickerson.
Very nice class of September-born females here. We're going to start off with the one I think's the freshest in her overall condition out here. This is a heifer that's really nice and feminine through that front 1/3. You set that one into motion. All of her joints work the way you want them to. Her feet go out. They're square on all four corners. She gets out and goes around the ring. You love the way she handles her hock on the move, and that's one that tracks really well from behind when you watch her go. Young man does a really good job. The heifer here in the second hole is one that's got a lot of power to her, and she reads that way on paper. She is the highest birth weight heifer in the class, but I think what gets her today, she wants to walk outside of herself when you set her into motion. I'd just like to make that one a little freer and easier to get over that first place heifer here, but that's a very nice heifer. A lot of power and a lot of dimension, but today she just needs to kind of tone it down a little on those rear two as she goes away from you. Really nice bodied heifer here in the third hole is one I'd just like to give a little more substance of bone, make her just to where she stoutens up a little bit at the ground when you get her out here and get her to going.
Your results from Class 14 on the Junior Angus side. In third place, entry 1138, Barrett Allen. In second place, entry 1136, Cheyenne Bennett. And your class winner, entry 1139, Jace Dickerson. At this time, we will bring our class winners back for our senior heifer calf champion drive.
Back out here for your fall division champion. Let's give these Angus exhibitors a big round of applause for four nice class winners. Just sit back and analyze them, though. I think there's one that puts everything together in terms of type and kind for my kind of cattle out here within this division. One that's got some shape down her top and got some dimension to the center part of her body, but yet still has a powerful hip in her and gets out and goes around the ring real easy. It's going to be an easy class winner for me. Reserve will get to be a little bit more challenging, but I'll follow up with another one I think is a very high-quality heifer.
Your results within the Junior Angus Show, your senior heifer calf champion goes to entry 1132, Ella Brooks. Your reserve champion senior heifer calf goes to entry 1139, Jace Dickerson. Coming into the ring at this time will be class 15. We have entry from Scarlett Carney.
High quality August born female here, just a single entry, but in terms of cow power and structural design, this one's got a lot of good parts and pieces to her. I think that one's going to make a nice brood cow on down the road for that young lady, one with plenty of muscle, shape, and dimension down that top. Congrats to her.
Within your Junior Angus Show, your results from class number 15 in first place, entry 1145, Scarlett Carney. Set to enter the ring at this time will be class number 17. We have Dakota Allen, Sawyer Stiles, Peyton Volushin, Catherine Coleman, Clay Kraft, and Delaney Jones.
out as a feature there up about her skull. A few things I'd like to see changed on this female. I'd like to knock her down and see her tail head lay smoother into the backside of her hip. I'd like to see her go to the ground on a bit bigger foot and a shot more just collected in terms of her movement in that regard. But still, you got to respect and appreciate all the dimension that she has from there on forward. Congratulations to this young lady.
Well, first of all, I got to say this is quite a set of Angus females here in this May class. You start at the top and you work your way all the way down. There's good cattle all the way throughout this class. You just have to put your priorities where you see fit. And within this class, for me, I think in terms of freshness and soundness and foot quality and leg integrity, this heifer here at the top this young lady has is the one that puts everything together for me out here today. She is fresher through her front third. She's more functional in her leg design when you get her into motion than what anything else is. And then to me, that's what it's all about. Soundness, freshness, ones that still got that cow look, and so to me that's the one that wins. That one right there is the one that wins this class. The next heifer, you got to love a lot of things about her. Out here today, she's probably not as sound as what our first place heifer is, but a tremendously good looking heifer from the side. You set her into motion, she kind of wants to labor a little bit off those rear two. I'd just like to free her up, get her over that first place heifer, but a very, very high quality female that I'd be proud to own. The one coming out here in third, she's the one that's different within this class. She is definitely one that's a breed changer in terms of breeding on, but I think in terms of structural integrity out here today, she needs to be changed. She labors when you ask her to go off of both ends. I'd just like to square her up and true her up from the hip all the way to the ground off those rear two as you watch her go away from you. But a heifer that's got a lot of power and a lot of mass and a lot of dimension, just kind of the problem heifer within this class for me. The next heifer coming out is one that's going to make a nice cow for this young lady. She's not hooked up quite as nice in behind that shoulder and as what the ones in front of her are. I'd like to change her a little bit in the depth of that heel, but that's a heifer that's got a lot of good to her. Very high quality one there going out next. The next two females got a lot of good things to them. I'd just like to change them in places, like the heifer going out next, as she's a little heavier in that brisket than what she needs to be. The young man's just didn't quite stout and powerful enough to get up any higher.
Within your junior Angus, show your results from class number 17. In sixth place, entry 1157, Clay Kraft. In fifth place, 1154, Peyton Volition. In fourth place, 1155, Catherine Coleman. In third place, 1152, Sawyer Stiles. In second place, entry 1151, Dakota Allen. And your class winner, entry 1158, Delaney Jones. At this time, we will bring back our class winners within the Junior Angus Show to select your intermediate heifer champion.
Back over here on the Angus side, we had a really, really good class there that we just ended up with, and we're back out here for division. And I think it's pretty easy for me to go out here and pick the champion in reserve for as high quality as that class is. It's going to be this heifer here out of the May class as your champion, and we'll follow up with the second behind her for reserve.
Within your junior Angus, show your results from the intermediate heifer championship drive. Your champion goes to entry 1158, Delaney Jones. Your reserve intermediate heifer champion also comes from class 17, and that is entry 1151, Dakota Allen. In the ring at this time is class number 18. We have Tristan Luchka, Cheyenne Brunker, Presley Ann Flesh, Lauren Frederick, and Braxton Tate Cole.
Sorry for the pause there, but I thought out of respect for the Horned Hereford side, I'd let Nick pick his champion in reserve. We've got an outstanding class of Angus females here. I think this heifer that starts off this class in terms of just cow power and sheer structural correctness, I think comes to the top real easily for me. Extremely fresh in her overall type and kind. You love that about her. The center part of her body, you know, you can tell this one's getting ready to lay down and calve here pretty quickly, but yet still holds herself together and gets out and goes around the ring. Just an impeccable female to me. I think that's what an Angus female ought to look like out here strolling around the ring. Young man's heifer coming out here in the second hole. Very high quality individual. One that's not quite as deep in the center part of her body as what our class winner is, but definitely has some neat parts and pieces to her. I'd like to just relax that one a little bit in her shoulders. She gets a nickel more upright than what our class winner does, but a heifer that's got a lot of good to her, some true muscle and shape and dimension to that female. The one coming out here in the third hole, another high quality heifer, just ran into a class with two really good ones in front of her, but I think that's a heifer that's got a lot of good to her. Just a tough class here. The next two heifers coming out, I'd just like to give them a little bit more balance, a little more eye appeal to get them up within this class.
Your results on the Junior Angus show from Class 18. In fifth place, 1165, Tristan Luchka. In fourth place, 1168, Presley Ann Flesh. In third place, 1170, Lauren Frederick. In second place, 1172, Braxton Tate Cole. In first place, 1166, Cheyenne Brunker. In the ring at this time will be class number 19 within the Junior Angus show. We have Paige Lemonager, Avery Elizabeth Kimball, Colby Brunker, Peyton Wood, and Xander Sunsback.
Interesting class of Angus females here. We're going to go ahead and use the one that's the biggest, stoutest, most powerful one in this class, but yet when you get her out here on the move, she's still very sound, and you like that about her. And in terms of freshness from the shoulder forward, I think she excels our second place heifer out here today, and that's kind of the nitpicky differences that I see in these two. The next heifer coming out, heifer that really gives you a nice look from the side, but when I sat back and I analyze that one, I see that she's got a little more roll there in front of her shoulder, carries that down into her brisket. I'd just like to clean that one up there in her chest floor, up into her shoulder to get her over that first place heifer, but two very high quality heifers here at the top of this class. Young man's got one coming out here in the third hole. It's got a good look to her too. That's one I'd definitely like to take home and make a cow out of. Just within this this set of heifers, she's one that gets a little flatter from behind than what the two in front of her do, but a very high quality heifer. That young man does an awesome job getting her showed. Young lady's heifer coming out next, another one of those. Going to make a really nice cow, just a little deeper chested than what I'd like to ideally see her within this class. If you could just pick her up there in that chest floor, I think that'd get her up another notch. The next one coming out, just a big, stout, rugged heifer. You know, that's one that's got a lot of good to her. Going to make a nice cow. Just doesn't balance up like those ones in front of her.
Your results from Class 19 within the Junior Angus Show. In 5th place, 1186 Xander Sunsback. 4th place, 1183 Peyton Wood. 3rd place, 1182 Colby Brunker. In 2nd place, 1173 Paige Lemonegger. In 1st place, your class winner, 1178 Avery Elizabeth Kimball. Set to enter the ring at this time should be class number 20. We will have Amelia Mary Miller, Sydney Dodge, Styles Dayton Patton, and Shiloh Billman. Our judge once again for the Junior Angus Show is Dan Harker. Dan grew up actively involved in the American Junior Simmental Association, and he's judged collegiately at Purdue University. Dan has judged shows on various levels for several years, having judged at the American Royal, the Nile in Montana, Keystone Livestock Expo, and several state fairs.
This class of February-born heifers, I think in terms of foot shape and design and structural integrity, there's one that comes to the top pretty easily for me within this class. This young man up here in the green shirt, you sit and you analyze that heifer, that foot shape, the amount of heel that one has, the toe length. I like that one at the ground, and when you set her into motion, she doesn't disappoint you. She gets out and goes. That's one that's long spine, fresh in her condition, very nice heifer that I think wins this class quite easily for me. The heifer here in second's one that's definitely big-bodied. Wants to get a little up in her top when you set her into motion, toes out a little bit off that front end, but a heifer I think quality-wise just fits into that second hole. The third place heifer for me is the one that's kind of the struggle for me. She's one that's really got a cool look to her. I think there's some pretty neat parts and pieces there to breed on, but when you get her into motion out here today, she wants to labor from that hip to the hock to the ground. I'd just like to free her up and make her a little better out here today when you get her out here and get her going. The next heifer coming out, definitely not a last place heifer, but here at the National Western, we don't have a lot of numbers today, but it's a heifer. It's got a lot of good to her. Just want to change those feet when you study that one at the ground.
Your results in the Junior Angus Show, Class 20, 4th place, 1194, Sydney Dodge. 3rd place, 1187, Amelia Mary Miller. 2nd place, 1196, Shiloh Billman. And your class winner, 1195, Styles Dayton Patton. At this time, we will bring our first and seconds back for our Junior Yearling Heifer Champion selection.
Back over here on the Angus side, we get to pick this division, and I'll tell you what, this is an incredible lineup of females out here. We start off with the one that won that first class, and a really tough class it was, and I think there's things that just just have that wow factor about that female. She hits you hard when she first comes in, and she stays that way all the way through the class. For me, it was a pretty easy class winner, and we get into the second class there. Big, powerfully constructed, stout-made one that I think in terms of making breeding cattle on down the road and raising the next generation of herd bulls, that's the one that's built to do it. Just a really, really nice female. Out of this last class, you know, she won, I said, on structure and soundness and freshness alone, and the young man does an awesome job getting that one showed. I'm going to go out here and pick your champion in reserve. Congratulations to these kids.
At this time, with the Junior Angus Show, we will do our Parade of Champions. Our first animal in the ring is your Reserve Summer Heifer Calf Champion. And that is entry 1056, Cora Haben. Followed by entry 1090, which is your Reserve Junior Heifer Calf Division 1, Scarlett Carney. Followed by your Reserve Junior Heifer Calf Division 2 champion, 1095, Jack Damron. Your Reserve Senior Heifer Calf champion, entry 1139, Jace Dickerson. Your Reserve Intermediate Heifer champion, 1151, Dakota Allen. And also your Reserve Junior Yearling Heifer Calf champion, entry 1172, Braxton Tate Cole. At this time, within the Junior Angus Show, we will parade your division champions. Up first, your Summer Heifer Calf Champion, entry 1048, Olivia Jones. Your Junior Heifer Calf Division 1 Champion, entry 1082, Sydney Dodge. Your Junior Heifer Calf Division 2 Champion, entry 1120, that is Braxton Tate Cole. Your Senior Heifer Calf Champion, entry 1132, Ella Brooks. Your Intermediate Heifer Champion, 1158, Delaney Jones. And finally, your Junior Yearling Heifer Calf Champion, entry 1166, Cheyenne Brunker. At this time, we will make our champion and reserve champion selections for the Junior Angus female.
Well, first of all, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the National Western for having me here to evaluate the Junior Angus Show and the American Angus Association for allowing me to do that. You know, it's been one of those things. I walked into this ring the first time back in, I think, 1988 on that side right over there and showed a big old yellow and white one. And at that time, I never dreamed I'd have the privilege or the honor to evaluate cattle here at the National Western, but over the next few years after that, the turn of events kind of led me right down the path of showing cattle and breeding cattle for the rest of my life here. And it's been fun, and I appreciate the opportunity that these junior programs, such as the Angus Association, or like me growing up in the Simmental Association, or even the Hereford Associations, allowed kids, my kids and me and my wife, to learn and to grow, and I think it's a great organization to get your kids involved in, no matter what breed it is. Do it and do it right. You know, I started out not knowing anything and finished up my last 2 years winning the Junior Nationals for the Simmental Association, so you can truly do it if you put your heart and your mind into it, and it's pretty easy to do, and never give up on these things. You know, we had a heifer last year that went on and won quite a bit, and she started out third or fourth in class the first show we ever took her to. She was a little skinny, little green, went on to be a crowd favorite. So, you know, don't give up on them just because you didn't win out here today. But, you know, a little history about me and my family. My wife was Miss American Angus Queen, and she was the 25th one. Her mother was the first one. My kids are actually the 8th generation Angus breeders. You know, we don't have a lot of them, but we have a few. And so, yeah, I'm not really just some nobody out here evaluating these cattle today. Actually, there's a rich family heritage, you know, within the Angus breed. So it's an honor for me to be here. And I don't know, you know, yesterday when we walked into that airport and I was going to fly first class for the first time in my life, only to find out that the FAA shut us all down. And I'm not real patient, and I wanted to make sure I got here. So at 8 o'clock yesterday morning, we went and got our luggage back. I got in a car, and I drove 15 hours. It was a great trip to about 150 miles out, and really struggled with why I was doing this. But I'm doing it because of all of you. I'm doing it because of these kids, and I wanted to come out here, and I wanted to show everybody that no matter what, I'm going to evaluate these cattle for what they are, and I appreciate that opportunity, and I think I will be proud to stand in the photo backdrop with my champion and my reserve today, and hopefully those kids will have those cattle hanging on their wall 35 years from now like I do at my house. So congratulations to all these. Thank everybody that allowed me the opportunity to come here, whether it's my family, my friends at home, my family that's here. So just once again, thank you for everything. I'm going to go out here and pick your champion and reserve. I think they're two very, very outstanding individuals.
Your grand champion junior Angus female is also your junior yearling heifer champion, and that is entry 1166, Cheyenne Brunker. Rolling into consideration for your reserve champion junior Angus female will be entry 1172, Braxton Tate Cole. And your reserve champion junior Angus female is also your junior heifer calf from Division II, entry 1120, Braxton Tate Cole.